you.
Save your beats.
Catch us ballin' like we just hit the jackpot. We just hit the jackpot. We just hit the jackpot. Catch us ballin' like we just hit the jackpot. We just hit the jackpot. We just hit the jackpot. We just hit the. Yeah, I'm Savior Beats.
I'm Nicola Pope.
Coming at you from Atlanta, that's a fofo.
And the 678-770.
Peace, stay great, stay where we puffin' that dro.
Trying to get away, people led astray.
Yeah, we just wanna lead, wanna motivate.
But I'm the type of cracker that you love to hate.
Yeah, and I'm the type of nigga that you love to hate.
Spend a night with me and it's like you hit the jackpot.
They love it.
The bottles are flowing, the women are dancing, my crew in the booth, sipping on 100 proof whiskey tequila.
How's it going, everybody? It's McCrae, and of course my co-host Spencer B. Clausen.
Hey.
And of course we've got the very lovely, the most fabulous Shelli Poole. How's it going, Shelli?
Good.
Excellent. Thank you for being on the show, Shelli.
Yeah.
Thank you. I've lost my voice a little, so I'm kind of raspy.
I think we're all kind of in that boat right now, actually. My voice is killing me. Before we get started, the music that you heard in the beginning was Nicola Poe, a.k.a. Jace, a.k.a. The Fleet Music, so definitely go check out his new single, Jackpot. Also, my new cartoon, little trailer, has dropped that, so everyone get excited about that. It's coming soon, very, very soon. So, yeah. Spencer, how you been?
Oh, man, been good. Enjoyed this game rundowns with everybody. This is the 5th or 6th of our Big Brother 17 game rundowns jury interviews. So we're plugging through them and having lots of fun doing it. And Shelli, you were the first juror. You had a very controlling hand in the first half of the game, and we just want to kind of walk through all the processes of your reign in the house. But really, we've got to start from the start. Mm-hmm. How did you get involved with Big Brother? How did you get involved in the casting process? Just kind of tell us about your casting process and all the way up to the point where you walk into the door.
Well, I've been a really, really Big Brother fan for a lot of years. I definitely watched y'all on your season. I love the show. And last season, season 16, was the season that I just thought, oh my gosh, I should be on this show.
If these fools can be on the show, anyone can be on it.
I could do it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just at a point in my life where I just kind of wanted something fun to do, just something just out there, and I mean, I don't know, just an adventure. And so that's kind of what Big Brother was to me. And so I don't know, I got in contact with somebody who told me that they were casting for Big Brother, and I Skyped with them and got through that interview, and then I made it out to LA. I flew out there and I did a week of finals, and then there were 2 weeks of waiting time before we heard that we made it, or that I made it, or if anyone in our cast found out. And so it happened actually pretty quickly for me.
Were you found online? Is that how you were found? Can you say? I know that a lot of people were found on Tinder, and there's some other ways that people were found.
Yeah, the twins said that they found on Instagram. Through the hashtag twins.
Yeah.
So if you don't feel comfortable saying that, quite all right. But you went a non-typical way of being cast for the show.
Yes, it was actually Instagram for me.
Cool.
I make jewelry on Etsy, and on my Instagram page is the link to my jewelry store. And so they found that link and were able to message me on Etsy. And when she said, I'm casting for Big Brother, I don't know if you know this show, but if you're even slightly interested, I wrote her back and I was like, slightly interested? I was like, interview me now. Like, get me there. I want to be in the house. So.
Wow.
That's excellent. Did you
season is so weird with the casting. People are just like they're not even looking for it, and it's just falling in their lap. It's really kind of incredible,
It's cool.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
and it was
social
crazy.
media's impact.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know. Social media is amazing. And it was like, it just came right when I was needing something like that. And it was something that I didn't have to binge watch any episodes or anything, because I was like, oh my God, I'll tell you everything I know about all this. I just love the show. So I was already all for it and ready to move in. And moving into that house, as y'all know, is absolutely surreal, especially if you watch the show and you're seeing this house that you've watched for so many years and now you're living in it. It's unreal.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is surreal. It's kind of like, I always describe it as kind of like going to like the White House or something, It's like a place you've heard about and seen on TV, but you never thought you'd actually stand in it, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of got that weird
You don't
feeling.
think it's really real.
So yeah, exactly. So when you do get into the house, what was you found out it was going to be a battle of the block? What's your opinion of the battle of the block?
Okay, so
Favorite?
I actually was hoping they weren't going to do Battle of the Block this year because I didn't love it last year.
Okay.
However, being in the house, I actually came to like it a lot because well, first of all, you have a better shot of getting HOH, and I think that it's actually really good for the people living there because then that's two people who get a letter from home and they get a basket of like goodies, that just kind of makes them feel special. And even if one of them only stays HOH for a day, you're getting that moment. I mean, really, a letter from home is that's just all you think about. So I love the fact that more people get a chance to do that. And I also like the fact that it makes you start really connecting with people quicker in the game because you have to start talking game with the other HOH, and it helps you work with people that maybe you wouldn't have before. I know that wasn't the point of Battle of the Block. The point was to like mess people up, but it really actually brought people together better.
Well, I like that I like that you said like it makes people play the game faster because honestly, your guys' season, I've never seen the game be played so fast. You guys played about 37 weeks in the first week. Like it was just insanity. Can you kind of like, all right, what did we not see when the feeds were down that you can talk about? I mean, what happened that week because when the feeds came on, everyone was full bore running as fast as they could through that game. Everyone was playing as the hardest game ever. I'm guessing that Audrey and Devon definitely had a piece of that, but you and Clay, definitely had a piece of that too. I think. Kind of walk us through, what was going on that week.
Well, what's funny is the first week. Oh God, it's so hard to go back there, It's so long ago. It was a lot of scampering. I mean, the phrase that we used this year, scamper, it's the best phrase because there was a lot of scampering. It was constant, people running up to the HOH room. That HOH room was always full of people. I actually didn't go up there at all. I mean, because I felt like
risky.
Oh, it's like all them up there, and I'm not getting invited. So I kind of stayed away. And I got really close in that week with Clay and Audrey and Vanessa and even Jace. And it really kind of sucked because I knew what the plan was, for Jace. And he's someone that I grew close with pretty quick. And knowing I don't know, the game just started getting really real really fast.
Sure.
I don't know honestly, I don't know what y'all didn't see, so that's a hard question for me to answer correctly.
The night that we came to was pretty much the night where Vanessa was crying a bunch. I don't know if that's
much. Vanessa started off very shaky on the feeds. I will say this. We can just kind of set up the framework of basically the first competitive Big Brother week was that Jason and James are going to win the co-HOHs, nominating Johnny Mac and Becky, Jackie and Steve. Becky and Johnny Mac are going to win the Battle of the Block. Steve won the power veto, and then, like you said, you knew about Jace and the whole plan, and he's going to go on the block against Jackie and be evicted. Now, there's a couple of ways that we want to talk about this. One is Jace. You did say you liked him. He was a nice guy. I've met the dude, loved Jace. He was a big personality in the house and a good target for James to target. Physical target, a social target, loud, obnoxious in a way, easy to rally troops against him. So I understand Jason's a target. However, Jackie's on the block. She came in with a pre-existing relationship with Jeff. She's part of a twist. There just doesn't seem to be a whole lot of push to get her out. What was as you and Clay, y'all had already kind of formed your relationship during this first week, correct? That was pretty first out of the gate. So was there any thought of for y'all to keep another pair in the house as a buffer? What kind of was the talk there with wanting Jace out to help your game as Clay and Shelli?
Right. Well,
before that, when did you and Clay start getting into getting close as an alliance?
Playing together. Let's say that. Would you start playing together? Was that this week?
I mean, day one.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, Clay and I don't know how much of this I'm really supposed to talk about, but Clay and I had seen each other. We were in the same group in finals.
Okay.
So we had already seen each other. So when we moved into the house, there were half of the house was from our group of finals. And so we had already kind of recognized each other and sort of size each other up. So on that very first day, Clay pulled me into the hammock room, and I think that this conversation is on the episode. Again, I haven't said this, but Clay and I haven't watched the episodes yet.
Was that when it was still the hammock?
Yes, when
Okay,
it was that.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that
They definitely showed that.
That was awful.
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
awful. Yeah.
I know. We were like, what are we doing? It's so weird to even get like, awkwardly climb into that thing. But yeah, that very first night, Clay pulled me aside and he said, like, I have your back in this game. And it was just sort of like this immediate, like, yeah, I know, like, we will be working together in this game. And we did, very early on. And then I also bonded with Vanessa the very first day because, there were a lot of people sharing beds, and Vanessa and I shared a bed. So we got really close. And Audrey and I, same thing, move-in day. I mean, so the people that I grew close with, it was immediate.
You, Audrey, and Devon kind of started something up. And I understand there's tons of little micro alliances forming constantly with I guess you would describe it as your scampering. Everybody was kind of going around and trying to partner up and find allies, allegiances, or whatever they needed to be safe that week. What was your impression of James being the HOH? Were you happy with how things went? All in all, did you go into this next week after Jace leaves? You're going to win the HOH. So what kind of enemies, targets, that kind of thing? Because we do want to talk about the Audrey Devon fight and your perception of that. But just talk about, like, did James get out of his HOH week safe in your eyes completely? That was all fine and dandy. And
yes, and actually, I'm sorry, I didn't really even go back to answering your first question, which was about Jackie and Jeff. We weren't. This was James's HOH, and it was his decision. He had made an understanding with Jackie. He told her, look, I need you as a pawn. I'm not going to let you go home. And he made sure to stay true to that word. And the rest of the house was totally on board with that. She was quiet. She wasn't like coming in making waves or anything. She very smartly came into the game quietly, knowing that she had a big target on her back because she brought Jeff in with her. Okay. Jace, on the other hand, he came in immediately talking about alliances, immediately talking about game, immediately talking about strategy, like out loud to everybody. And that was a big concern to James. And James made that decision, and the entire house was like, yeah, we'll go with whatever. I mean, everyone wants to keep it safe, obviously, in the beginning. During that time, during those 2 weeks, because I was close to Audrey, when the whole thing happened with, Day and Audrey, and that all blew up, I was close to Audrey. Devon had pulled away, in which I didn't know this, but now that I'm out of the house, I'm understanding. I didn't know why she pulled away. All I knew is that she just stopped talking to me. It got awkward. Things got weird. And now I think it's because she saw my relationship with Clay, and she saw me as maybe not being as true to them, and she was worried that maybe I'd go off with Clay. So now that's understandable. I get that now, which I didn't understand in the house.
And there was
when you
that
live
fight.
there, you're like, why is this person suddenly not talking to me? You don't get it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And there was that fight between Clay and Devon. I mean, that was kind of like, one of the earlier arguments that we were shown. As far as Audrey and Devon, were you scared of Devon during that fight? I mean, I know that you're sympathetic towards Audrey in there. However, Devon became your target, and we'll go through this. You and Becky on HOHs nominate Devon, Johnny Mac. Those are going to stay the noms until Johnny Mac wins the power veto, and you can have Devon and Meg. Now, there was some talk about Liz going up, and we'll kind of get to that a little bit. But Devon was your target. What did you think by her calling out Audrey? Did that put you in a place where you thought, this is somebody I can't work with? What was the reason to make Devon the target as opposed to somebody like Audrey, who was starting a lot of shit this week?
She was. But again, oh gosh, it's like when Devon started pulling away from me, Audrey was staying close to me. And so in that situation, it was really, really a hard thing that came crashing down on me when everyone came to me and approached me and said, Audrey's stirring up all this stuff, and she's behind this, and that. And so everyone's jumping to get rid of Audrey, but I was close to Audrey. I knew that I would have her back. I knew that she would have mine. And I knew that she was playing the game, and I don't know. It was me targeting Devon was nothing personal about Devon. Like you're saying, was I afraid of her? No, I wasn't afraid of Devon. Devon's an awesome chick. I mean, she was so fun in the house. Like I definitely liked Devon, but she was going against someone that I was working with. And so it was sort of kind of came between Devon and Audrey. And so that move was strictly about protecting Audrey, not about going against Davon, even though
Gotcha.
obviously I putting someone up on the block and, you know, targeting them, that is going against someone. I can see that someone can say that as an argument, but I was really just trying to protect my connection with Audrey.
No,
Vested
no,
interest,
certainly. That's
yeah.
the way the game is played. That's the way the game is played. The house self-regulates, and if somebody is in power, can protect someone that's aligned with them, that's the way it works. And it's obviously, we know it's nothing personal. And our viewers obviously.
And, yeah,
too.
and my kind of
It's just
perspective
like,
of it, I guess, was
when-
pretty much like Devon and Audrey are kind of the same kind of like the same coin. They're the two sides of the same coin, where it's like they're both shit stirrers. They both like got shit popping off, and they weren't gonna like. It just seemed like they both kind of played the same part. They both played the same role of like getting into where they shouldn't be getting into, I guess. So it's like, well, you had Audrey on your side. If you would have had Davon, you would have went after Audrey, I guess, because they
Right.
played the same similar kind of role in the house. Shitster is what I call
They
it.
seem to have it keep the first couple weeks of feeds popping. That's a fact.
Yeah,
That's a fact.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
no,
it was
they're
beautiful
entertaining
to
for
watch.
sure.
Yeah.
Now we need to start talking about Meg. You put Meg on the block. You'd wanted to put Liz on the block, and she kind of talked you out of it. What was her plea to you to stay? Did she threaten you in any way, or did she? What did she say to keep me off the block? What was she doing?
She did not threaten me. She actually was very very passive when I told her that I was going to put her up a block. What a different game it would have been had she been put up, though, right?
Yes.
Looking back on it, because at that point we had no idea that she was a twin. But here's what she did: she was actually awesome. I mean, I sat her down and said, "Look, you know, I need to put somebody up, and I think that you are not very threatening right now. No one's like gunning for you." And so she understood, you know, my reasoning behind it. But then Austin actually was the one who saved Liz in this instance, because he came to me and he told me that he had overheard people talking in the purple room saying that if I put up Liz, that they would vote out Liz and that they were going to keep Davon. And so obviously if that happened, then I would have someone who would be left in the house hardcore gunning for me.
Yep.
So at that point we realized, okay, look, you know, Liz isn't working with Davon. So I need to put up somebody who is working with Davon, so that side, that group, has to choose somebody. And, you know, Meg was definitely the lesser threat, you know, at that point. So
was that a lie by Austin?
I you know, I don't know, but it worked. So
You still don't know?
and,
Okay,
and,
all
and
right.
here's the thing. If it was a lie or not, it at least made me think it through and say, you know what? Exactly what I just said. Liz isn't
Exactly.
working with Davon.
Exactly.
So
Sure.
why would I put Liz up? So
Gotcha.
it
Makes sense.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Okay, well, Davon is going to go this week, and she potentially was going to be a huge threat to you and Clay and to your alliance. Now, during this point in time, Julia's going to enter the house through one of the twin twist trades.
Yes.
And at some point, she tells Vanessa about we are twins, confirms all that, and then the Sixth Sense Alliance is going to form. Talk about when that's brought to you, how you handle this information, why you thought it's a good idea to bring another person in, and where you thought Julia's the other twins' loyalty would be, and just kind of talk about the whole forming of the Sixth Sense Alliance, and its goal mostly was just to get the twin in and go from there.
Well, I loved Liz. Like this, at this point, she was just Liz. I thought she was fun, spunky. You know, we had bonded over the fact that we were in the same sorority and that we were both,
That's right. That's
you know, I
Forgot
don't know.
that. That's right, yeah.
So we had like,
Zeta,
you know,
what were
we're
y'all-
kind of
what were y'all?
both girly girls. Yeah, we're Zeta Tau Alpha. Zeta
Yeah.
Tau Alpha. Yeah, I was at UGA.
What does that mean?
Anyway.
Let's get into that, because what does that mean? And did that have any effect? Because like that's a weird bond to have with a random other person in the Big Brother house, like to be like,
Did
oh
that
yeah,
sorority mean anything? Did y'all really like? Was that like, or is it just like if it means something to her, it means something to me? You know, it's one of those things.
It's just an interesting thing to bond over. You know, we had never
Sure.
met each other. We went to different schools. We were 10 years apart in age. And just to say, oh, you know, we both pledge the same sorority. I mean, if you're a Greek person, if you do sorority or fraternity, you understand that it's a real Southern thing. But you understand that that's just kind of something that you connect with somebody on. You have that in common. So that was
that's
just
really cool.
Yeah.
I know, it's funny. It was just one of those things that when we realized it, we're like, wow, we're kind of alike, you know?
I love that.
But so Yeah, so we had started, figuring out the twin thing, and so I told Vanessa about it, and I said, "Did you know about the twins?" And I don't know at this point if she knew or not, but she told me that she had no idea. And so then she very smartly, which I wish I had done myself, she went down and Julia was the one in the house, and she looked her in the face and said, "Do you have a secret? You got to tell me now." And so Julie broke down and said, "Yes, oh my God, I'm a twin. This is so stressful." That's when Vanessa created this great plan that, hey, we're going to protect you. And it was awesome, because then when she came upstairs and said, okay, Julia is on board. She's going to come in to the HOH room tomorrow morning. She's going to meet you. We're going to work with them, and then when they're both in here, we're going to protect them until they both get in here. And then we'll have a group of 6. And so we went for it because we thought, well, you know what, if the twins get broken up, then one of the other 4 house guests that had been evicted prior would maybe come in their place. And we thought that us forming the relationship and the protection of the twins would help us be extremely tight with them, not realizing that once the twins did come in, that everybody was going to jump on that and try to be working with the twins. That's something that we didn't realize would happen.
That's interesting.
Okay, you didn't realize how powerful of a thing that it would be.
Right.
Is that right? Would you say you underestimated that? Okay, because ironically enough, it's going to be weird that by the time the twin comes in, it's going to be James's HOH. So
Yeah.
it kind of gets sad here at the end. But let's work through this next week. We got Vanessa and Austin are co-HOHs. Austin will be dethroned when Jason and Megan battle the block, and Johnny Max can win the power veto. This is where you're going to have James and Jeff up on the block. Jeff's going to go home. There's pretty much no saving him after everything blew up like it did. I want to hear your part of that, what you knew. Like, Jeff's part of his game got blown up because he was basically saying, we can't work with Clay and Shelli together, just things like that, which is really basic game talk for anybody else. And you could imagine anybody was saying that to a point.
Right.
But it's not something you want to hear. So talk about the blow up with Jeff, how you felt about him needing to go, if you felt like he needed to go, absolutely, and just how big of a threat Jeff was to leave week 3.
Well, the thing is a lot of times people try to use that as ammo with me. They would say, oh, so-and-so is going to try to target you and Clay. And I didn't get overly upset about that because I said, well, of course, everyone is going to target anyone who's close in this game. There were a lot of pairs. And so I understood if someone was going to be saying that. I felt personally like, what? When I heard that it was Jeff, because I don't know what it was about him, but on the first day when he moved in, I was like, I like this guy. I thought he was smart. I'm like, I like working with him. I think him and Clay would work well together. Him and Clay did bond. And so we kind of had this good friendship, this good connection. And I thought that we would work together for a while. I always knew ultimately in the game that everyone has to turn against each other. So everybody knows that, but it's week 3. Why are you trying to break us up now? We are going to help you. Like, we're good in this game. Clay and I have your back.
Jeff was trying to target everyone. He was going after everyone the whole entire time. That's why he got his in the end.
Yeah.
Yes, and everyone found that out, and we were like, "Oh my God, Jeff! Like, we love you. We wish we could work with you, but you just got really dangerous,
Like,
So,
absolutely.
Would you say a large part of your and Clay's strategy to keep yourself safe was to try to work with everybody so that they wouldn't go after you, knowing Showmance is a huge target?
I guess so. The thing is I actually was closer to the Vanessa Audrey twin side.
Sure.
And then, Clay was the reason why I think, that I was closer to some of the other people. I loved Jason. I always wanted to work with Jason, but I guess because I had created stronger bonds with Vanessa and Audrey, it just didn't come to fruition. And especially since he was really close to Davon and I had sent her home, I felt really bad about that and awkward about, the relationship with James. Honestly, James never really talked to me very much. Anytime that I was HOH, he never came up to talk to me. I guess he just, I don't know. Maybe I'm going off on a tangent here, not really answering your question, but I have a lot on my mind that I've processed.
Go, yeah. Keep
Yeah.
it coming. Yeah,
I didn't realize, when James did put Clay and I up on the block, I definitely respected that game move, because what happened is James brought us into the hammock room and he said, here's the reasons why. And we asked very specific questions. We said, what did we do that made you put us up instead of maybe Austin or the twins or, somebody else that's a big target as well? And he said, because y'all were the closest to us. And y'all were in on that Jason thing, and y'all were closest to us. We felt the most betrayed by you. And I said, you know what, guy? Everything he said, I was like, I feel you. I understand. I respect your game move. Obviously, it broke my heart. but on a game level, I got where he was coming from.
Sure.
And then he brought up some things where he said, you know, I had your back in this game when I did X, Y, or Z. And it's funny because I had to look back and go, he did do that. He did tell me this thing about Audrey that honestly, I hadn't even like really realized that, because on a daily basis, an hourly basis, because in the Big Brother house, it's hourly. I mean, like you're constantly on.
Absolutely.
The people I was connecting with were, you know, again, Clay, Audrey, Vanessa, and James rarely talked to me. And so I forgot that I even had a connection with James other than the fact that he was close to Clay. So it's funny because when you do live in the Big Brother house, like you forget a lot of conversations that happen, and you sit there and go, did I say that? Like, did that really happen? You're like, oh yeah, you know? Yeah, so looking back on it, I mean, I totally understand why James did what he did. It's weird because I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent
the comforting thing about it all is that, well, James, you know, like, we know what happens eventually in the season, so it's like James gets his, and, you know, it could have been different, you know, like, oh, sorry, James, like, should have stuck with us. I don't know.
Well, you know, that was a big move for James to make week 6, and we did kind of jump up, but while we're there, let's stay on it. I guess there's no point in revisiting the other weeks because you and Vanessa are going to alternate HOHs basically up until week 6, and the twin twist is going to take place, and you're going to come in. So those weeks, you really had no threats. You really had, I mean, there were threats abound. However, you were in power. Your allies were in power. So it was you were in really a pretty good spot. This comfort, this level of comfort in the house, did that put a target on your back? Do you think there's an immense amount of power, and then obviously it's a huge showmance? I want to talk about the deal a little bit. Why did you just try to protect yourself and Clay on that wall when you had a whole other alliance? I mean, like, obviously you can't say we'll protect him and her and her and her.
Let me point out all my people that I would protect if I was HOH, and you go ahead and move that with two, okay?
Absolutely. No, like, I totally get that. But was there ever a thought of just try to get yourself safe and then worry about Clay? And also, did you not want to win this HOH? You said later you could have kept going if you know you had to. You'd won a lot of HOHs. There's a point in time where if you win a lot of HOHs, you just need to keep winning them, because as soon as you don't, somebody could chop your head. So tell me about because you've had a controlling share in this game. There's no doubt about it up until week 6, James was HOH, okay? So I want to know what all cumulative actions added up to you and Clay going on the block, and I mean, James going to win veto, so it's got to be between y'all. And this is interesting because James wanted Clay to stay and you to go, and then that flipped. So I know that I just set up a whole lot of stuff there, but but it's important to have the framework to talk about everything that happened. So just let us know all about that, because that's a very interesting HOH up into eviction, really.
That's true. That is kind of how it happened. Well, so as far as, you know, that actually is a really good thing to say. So to anyone who is maybe on Big Brother going forward, if you are still always winning HOHs, just keep winning them. That would have been awesome to have won that HOH. It also would have been awesome to win the HOH after Clay left, because then obviously I was the next one to go home. So
could you have
won that
further? Yeah, could you have won it?
Honestly, could you have gone farther? The wall
on the edge?
Yeah.
On that, yeah, I probably could have gone further. I could have gone longer. I don't know.
Come on.
James was in a comfortable position.
Okay.
He was in a spot where he was holding on like this.
Yeah.
So he would have gone longer than I probably would have. In that actual instance, though, where I was when I dropped, yes, I could have gone longer.
Yeah.
Not a lot, though. I mean, I was at the end where I knew that it was getting tricky. And here's the thing. James threw out while we were on the wall. He kept saying, time to make some deals. People make some deals. Someone make a deal with me. So I made a deal with them, and it didn't work, you know? And that's just the way it happens.
That's the way she goes sometimes.
Kind of what, that is the way the old cookie crumbles sometimes. Yeah. No deals are real deals in Big Brother. Yeah. Did you try to this week, and I believe that it did happen some, did you try to smear James's credibility with the rest of the house as far as somebody that could never make a deal with? In fact, I believe you said it when you were nominated, but was that something that did you try to like sour James this whole week as well?
I didn't. I said it when he nominated us because
Yeah.
obviously that's a really, really, I mean, that's just like a hard spot. I mean, you're sitting
Sure.
there seeing your face on the wall, but then seeing the person that you were absolutely the closest to. I mean, Clay was someone that I was not just playing a game with. I mean, like we were close personally, obviously,
I've
you know,
been
so
there. I've been there.
yeah, you've been there, McCrae.
I've been
That's
there.
what I'm talking about. It's hard. It's so,
Absolutely.
even if you do know it's coming,
Yep.
it's like, oh
It's a
my
killer.
God, why is this happening? You know,
Mhm.
and we were worried it might happen, but we had that little one glimmer of hope that maybe it wouldn't. And so when it did, it was like, wow, what the heck, you know?
Boy,
yeah. I've been there.
I'm
I've
so
been there.
sympathetic. I'm so sympathetic for these showmances. Lord,
Oh,
imagine
Whatever.
going to the block by yourself without anybody you can
You
trust.
don't know what
Holy
love
shit.
is.
You don't know what it's about. That's so.
Yeah, so it's horrible. So yeah, I reacted immediately. I was like, look, you know, he made this deal, he broke it, you know, and me and Clay, we were both pretty pissed, you know?
Oh, yeah.
But after that, I didn't. I mean, I didn't run around and say, ooh, y'all, you know, don't trust James, because James was HOH. I mean, what good was that going to do to me to trash him? At that point, I was trying to get him to save one of us so that one of us could, you know, come off the block and then campaign for the other one to stay. I mean, like, that was what we wanted. We wanted to win power of veto, get one of us off, and then get the votes for the other one. I mean, obviously, that was our ultimate goal. Why would I then try to campaign against James in that instance? That would have been absolutely a stupid move.
That's smart.
Sure. Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, let's go to like I said, Vanessa wants you to stay, and obviously James, like I said, we've made it clear that James was Clay, because Clay and James saw Clay as somebody he could work with. They could make amends and keep working in the future. There's a bunch of stuff that went down right before the eviction. A really uncomfortable argument, and like, what were you seeing as it was transpiring, and what did you feel was going on? Because Clay had pretty much fallen on the sword for you completely, and he was willing to go, but he was still going to stay up until.
But was
Go
that
ahead.
a part of your Black Widow attempt? Was that like just spin Clay, get Clay to fall on the sword?
Yeah.
Please tell me that
Me?
was it. Yeah, of course. Come on. Just I want it so bad. That'd be so great. That'd
Wait,
be.
what part are you talking about? That fight? That was not.
No,
I'm
don't
saying
remember that.
just Clay rolling
Wa-
over for you.
Was it a relief? Was it a relief when Clay was like, "Shelly, I want you to stay"? Were you like,
Yes, sir.
"Yes,
Yep.
I agree"? Like,
It was
tell me the
really-
truth.
Tell us.
I know it's hard.
was-
That's funny.
It's really awkward, and I was very on edge, as y'all could tell. I was on
Sure.
edge that whole week. It was devastating because I'm thinking I want to be in Big Brother so much. Like, I mean, during finals, I thought to myself, if I don't make it on the show, I will just die. Like, I'm just gonna curl up and die. So like, I just wanted it so bad. And then when I met Clay, it was like, if he just leaves, that's just horrible, you know. But I'm in
Sure.
the Big Brother house. Like,
Yeah.
obviously, I was gonna, you know, not just roll over. I mean, I wanted to at least like
Hey,
hope
I've
that I
been
had
there
my
too.
vote.
I've been
Yeah,
there
you
too.
understand that,
I've
McCrae. I mean, like,
it
It sucks because like you want to be there, but you want that person there, and if you can't have them both, it's like, oh crap,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
think at that point, I knew that my relationship with Clay was not just based on the house. I knew that it was real, that would last outside of the house. So at that point, it was like I had to fight for my game, but I could only do it in such a small amount because, oh my God, I couldn't go against someone that I cared so much about.
Sure.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Horrible.
I mean, I guess that'd be tricky. I don't know. I sound like a jerk, but oh man. So
Oh, but
okay.
that's the fight you're asking me about. Okay, so that fight that happened like right before the eviction with
Yeah.
Vanessa and James, Johnny Mac and Clay.
Yeah.
That right there was Vanessa working overtime because she took that moment to go up to James, side up with him by saying, "Oh, look, I heard this. Oh, wait, you didn't say that? Well, let's team up together and let's go and you know, fight with somebody in the house, and I'll be on your team." And then she knew that Clay would be leaving that day, so she used that to say to Johnny Mac, "Why would you think I would target you? Like, I'm going to protect you no matter what. Clay, this is all your fault. You're the one saying this," so that she can point the blame at Clay, and knowing that Clay's leaving out the door, and let James and John both think that she's got their back. So that was just, there's no way that Vanessa thought that Clay was walking around 5 minutes before eviction making up stories. I mean,
Yeah.
Clay, come on.
100%.
You know.
Yeah.
And I
yeah.
just sat there watching the thing, and I was sitting on the chair, and I can see Clay sitting on the bed, and I'm looking at him like, And I'm shaking my head like, what's going on? And he's like, just don't even. Just don't even.
Yeah, it seemed like a very, very confusing fight. And it seemed, as a fan on the outside watching, I was just like, I don't understand what's going on.
When people were trying to watch it, they had to go back, through the chats and that kind of stuff, and and try to find out exactly what conversations led to, like, kind of who is actually telling the truth, and that. And I remember being kind of weird. I jumped in on that kind of in the middle because people were like, "Damn, these feeds are crazy," and it was really kind of hard to piece it together.
At the same time, I give my hats off to Clay, because Clay was pretty much the whole time just like, blame it on me, just blame everything on me. Like, it doesn't matter, blame it all on me. Who gives a shit? Blame it on me.
Because he knew that Johnny Mac needed. I mean, Johnny Mac is the one who said it, and so Clay was trying to protect Johnny Mac. I mean,
sure.
He was our guy. He's our boy. So
absolutely.
That was huge. Yeah, the bond that you guys formed with Johnny Mac was a very interesting one, and it was a really cool one. Yeah,
I mean, using him, basically, you brought him in to have him throw Battle of the Blocks, and so he became a part of your Battle of the Block strategy. And the relationship, we were Johnny Mac fans. We did like to see the interactions with he and Clay and you and stuff, and that was kind of like a fun little. It would have been interesting to see if it could have turned into something more later on in the game, because there was a relationship there.
Yeah.
But let's talk about, like, after Clay leaves, you where's your head? Are you an emotional wreck, or are you holding it together by the time that Becky wins HOH?
I was an emotional wreck that first day.
Okay.
That was just, I mean, listen, I had been a have-not, got up on a wall, being a have-not, didn't make it to the end. I didn't make HOH. Me and Clay get put up on the block together. We have an extremely emotional week. We don't win POV. He goes home. I don't win the next HOH. I'm going up on the block. It had been a horrible week. I mean, everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. You're already stressed out in the Big Brother house. I mean, like, Clay was my sanity in the house, and he was gone. And now here I am on the block, and even though I wasn't the target.
I've been there.
Well,
you don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to explain yourself. Been there.
You weren't. Yeah, you were on the blog, but you say you're not the target. But Steve, you and Steve are on the blog. Becky's nominates you, and Steve obviously. Mm-hmm. Steve's going to win this veto, and it looks like the dream boat right now would be to have Vanessa sit next to you on the block, which she's going to go up against you at the beginning. That's certainly what it seemed like. Talk about this group that's formed to get Vanessa out, and everything was looking safe and sound, and then really what all Becky thought that she would have set up got twisted quick. I know that we talked to Liz earlier, and she said that her and Vanessa were doing a lot of campaigning to stay, and that's basically what it boiled down to, is that Becky didn't have enough allies. That once if Vanessa stayed, she'd still want to target Becky, and everybody else would maintain safety. So you kind of got put on the block in a weird situation with, honest to God, a major league gamer. I mean, Vanessa would have been. Yeah. I mean, dude, even in her speech when she had that that eviction speech, she stood up and said all that shit. I was like, I'd vote her out for that. She's obviously a genius. I was like, who can remember to say all that shit? Because every time, like, I gave those speeches a lot, and every time I'd stand up, I would like, all of a sudden you realize, all of a sudden you realize you're in front of like a million people. So then you're like, you sound really stupid. Yeah, you do. But like, she was like, Plato and Socrates, or whatever the fuck she said, and just brilliant talk. And I was like, get her ass out. But anyway, this was when you're on the block. I want to talk about this because this is kind of interesting. When you're on the block and you know that a jury member's coming back, okay? Yeah. You're going to be the first jury member. Oh, another thing with Julia coming in, Clay, I guess, technically should have been in jury had it been a regular season. Yeah, sorry, Sting that too. But when you were going out, did you think, hell with it, we'll try to come back in and just play? Because you've always had a good attitude. And honestly, I meant to say this earlier, you're really too wholesome for Big Brother. Like earlier when you were talking about Battle of the Block, and you were like, well, two people get letters from home, and they get snacks and goodie baskets. I was like, I would not even be thinking about that. And you're really excited that people get like comfort from home. So that's really funny.
All of your answers are super political too. You're
Yeah,
always like, well, James is, he's a really good guy, and I understand it from now. It should be like, fuck him, fuck.
Yeah.
No. I mean, it's true, like, but we're living with these people 24/7. We're all humans. We're all going through the ups and downs of it at the same time,
Absolutely. Well, let's get into, now that we've got you out of the house, you're the first really like jury member that we can talk to about coming back, okay? Because we've not talked to Becky or Jackie yet. So I want to talk about Jury House. You see Jackie come in, you see Becky come in, and then Johnny Mac, you don't see him, but y'all are all together because it's 4, correct? Yeah. Go ahead. What did you say, McCrae?
I was gonna say that, like, what was jury like? I mean, getting there and then like seeing like these people come in after each other. Like, what was your thoughts about the eviction? Of Becky and Jackie.
Here's what's funny. I was shocked to see when I saw Jackie.
Mm-hmm.
I was definitely shocked when I saw her walk through the door. I was expecting Vanessa or Becky. When I saw Jackie, I was really surprised.
Okay.
But then when we saw Becky, unfortunately, we were thinking it would happen because we knew that Vanessa was smart and had turned. She was very upset with Becky when Becky backdoored her. So we knew that Vanessa, she waves her wand and works magic. She was brilliant at this game, and so we knew that Becky was in trouble and that Vanessa was going to make sure that everyone was on board with that plan. And so when Becky came in, we weren't surprised.
Were y'all tipping your hat? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Vanessa?
Yes.
Oh, I was. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I knew you were. You're a big Vanessa fan.
But, yeah. I mean, she just played this game like pros,
Absolutely.
It's like, what, is this All-Stars? Because she sure is acting like one. She knows how to play like one.
No shit.
Yeah.
What was going to be, if you'd gotten back in the house, what were your targets? What did you hope to achieve had you been the returning juror?
If I had been the returning juror, I probably would have put up James and Austin together. James is someone that obviously, but I tried to mend that fence with James. When I was on the block, I was like, look, my side turned on me, and so now it's so awkward because when I'm on the block, it's like I have my side who
you gotta kiss ass.
Yeah, well, my side's like my side is on the block. The people, Vanessa was on the block, and Vanessa had kind of orchestrated this thing to get the house sort of against me and Clay in the beginning. Anyway, so I've got like my side of the house that's kind of okay with me being out the door, and then I have the other side of the house, which is the one that targeted me and Clay in the first place. So it's like, who to talk to,
Yeah,
and then
it would have been
even Johnny were like my only, loves to go to in that moment. But, they could only do what they could for themselves too. So they had to kind of see where the house was going to be at too. So that was really awkward. But I had given James a shot. I was like, look, I know this is weird, but like maybe we could, bury the hatchet. And I really meant that. I would have buried the hatchet. And he didn't want to do that. Understandably, hey, that's fine. I don't blame him for that. But because he didn't like take that olive branch, it was sort of like, well, he would have been someone that, that I would have targeted, and he knew that. That's why he voted me out.
Okay. What about Jackie and Becky? What were their game talks in the jury house as far as like
first off, I think I want to know. You said that it was a surprise to see Jackie. Did you think that she was a guaranteed final two? Is that why? Like, why were you surprised to see her? Just because she was so innocuous in the house, or?
I guess I just didn't think that. I thought that someone would go for someone like Vanessa, or I thought someone would go for a really big target like Vanessa, since Vanessa had just been up on the block next to me. Yeah. She had been the target, and then when they switched and they sent me out the door, I thought, well, then the target would remain the same, and it would probably have been Vanessa. But I knew that there would be a good chance that someone on Vanessa's team would have won. Mm-hmm. And so in that sense, I thought, well, I knew that they would all probably go for Becky, and I knew that the way that Vanessa campaigned was by going to James and Meg and telling them Becky really isn't in your corner as much as you think because of these reasons. And so I knew that they would have probably let Vanessa target her, so those were the people that I thought were in trouble. And I thought that at the time Jackie was still pretty safe, and so I was just surprised that Steve went for her.
No.
Okay. You did like there was the Freaks and Geeks and the Scamper Squad Alliance that basically
that's the same thing, right?
Yes, it basically formed. It basically formed week 2 or 3, right on the heels of Sixth Sense. So when Clay left and then you left, Scamper Squad became what was the loyalties there. That became the actual controlling alliance in the house. So I kind of want to talk about Steve right quick, because you voted for Steve in the jury. I do think Steve played a good game. He got lots of big blood on his hands, especially at the end. He played a very calculated game. But why not Liz? Why not vote for Liz? You worked with her. You know what all she faced in the house. She overcame adversity with the twin twist. She had the comps in her back pocket. She'd won like a luxury competition, a battle of the block, power veto, 3 HOHs, and was nominated 4 times. Was there anything that she could say that would have gotten your vote?
Steve was nominated multiple times. Steve won several power of vetoes. He also won several HOHs. I mean, so if we're talking about comps, they're pretty even. And then if you're talking about who was working strategy and who was like on my side, yes, I was in an alliance with Liz, but I was also in the connection. Steve and I, we were Stelly, you know. So
Sure.
even though you know what I mean, like, so even if he wasn't, I was in the Sixth Sense alliance, and then he was in an alliance with the exact same people with a different name.
Sure.
But then together, you know, Steve and I talked some game. I mean, Steve and I were close. Like, I was close to Steve day one. And so as far as like the connection as who I worked with and talked game with and had a personal relationship with, it was equal, you know?
Okay.
Steve is a super major fan. This has been his dream since he was a little boy. It meant everything to him. I mean, it was like absolutely his world.
Okay.
So, yeah, I don't know. And I think that he strategically thought through what his moves were very well.
Yeah, I agree. And I wasn't trying to take anything away from your vote for Steve or Steve as the winner. I was just saying that he was against a worthy adversary. Steve did win 4 HOHs. He was nominated 5 times and won 2 vetoes and 1 battle of the block. So he did have her beat on comps. Absolutely. I just wanted to know where you thought, as far as your closeness and alignment, if I thought that when I was trying to tally jury votes, I thought there was a slight chance that Liz would get your vote, and especially since Vanessa gave it to her. I mean, like, it seemed like it was a possibility. But I do like to hear your explanation for voting with Steve, and it's very valid reasons, and he's deserving of your vote. So
that being said, though, I think the final 3 was.
It was a
awesome.
phenomenal
Awesome
final 3. Yeah, all of them kicked some ass, and any of them would have been worthy of a vote, no matter what. You know, absolutely.
No, absolutely. No, like, people were talking about how Vanessa's vote for Liz was bitter. No. I don't see that at all. I'm going to ask her straight up if it was, but the thing is that Liz played a votable game. Like, she deserved jury votes. Yes. Absolutely. So, and you know, and she just needs to have more credit given to her than what she honestly receives, as in my estimation. So, but anyway, well, Shelli, thank you so much for giving us your time, for being here to talk. We really tried to get deep into the game. Your involvement in the first 6 weeks of the game was just pivotal. It was pivotal. You had so much control, alternating HOHs with Vanessa, worked to get the twin in. It was really a great game. Fun to watch you and Clay play together. Very, like I said, you're just wholesome as shit. I just can't say enough about you.
Oh, thank you.
So yeah, you are wonderful, and I do wish you the best of luck. But do you have any social media stuff you want to shout out so people make sure to follow you and get a hold of you?
Yeah. Okay, so I just joined Snapchat for the little sweeties out there who are asking me to join Snapchat. It's just straight up Shelli Poole, which is SHELLIPOOLE. My Instagram is Shelli_Poole_BB17. And my Twitter is @BB17_Shelli.
All right.
And, you know, I mean, I'm going to start, I know, you know, all the other things that are out there, I'll start joining all those too. So I will.
You're going to start periscoping?
I mean, you know, I don't know. I've been hearing the battle. It's Periscope versus You Now.
You Now you can make money. Periscope is for the love of the fans.
I don't
know. Go do You Now. That's fine. I've got beef with You Now. So
I will say this: that when you Periscope, like, have something to actually Periscope, because what people always do, I've noticed, is they start saying, "Oh yeah, we're here eating dinner," and they start reading the comments, and they start looking this like glazed over look in their eye, and they're just kind of like get overwhelmed. And so, like, it's just kind of funny. So like I don't Periscope because nobody wants to see what the hell I'm doing most of the time. But I definitely noticed that the best Periscopers are the ones that start Periscoping with a plan. So
okay,
yeah,
good to know. How about
comments.
already?
You're just gonna look like this all the time.
No, I know they comment so fast. You're like, what? I've seen videos of other people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And James, God, I love Asian James BB17.
Yes.
He's a wonderful guy, but his periscopes are funny because he gets overwhelmed with comments really quickly.
Oh, he's
so
like, funny.
Yeah, he's great. He's just like I thought he's gonna be. Just like I thought he's gonna be.
Shelli, do you have anything in your game that you don't think we highlighted? Any part of it that you thought you played that we just haven't gotten to? Is there anything that you want to talk about that we didn't talk about today?
I mean, you'll hit the best, I guess the biggest things. I don't know. Nothing's coming to mind right now.
Okay,
I mean,
no worries. Just to make sure.
I just thought just something off the top of your head, of course.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. We really appreciate it, taking the time and out of your busy life. What are you gonna say?
Oh, I was gonna say, everybody, make sure that you subscribe. We do have more interviews coming up. Tomorrow will be James and Vanessa's. We're going to record those. Will be released later. But these are going to be steadily released for the next few days. Thanks, everybody. Just want to make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any of those.
And a big shout out to my host with the most, Spencer Clausen. Big shout out.
Shout out.
Big shout out.
Big shout out.
Why do I get a shout out?
Good. I don't know. You've been killing it as always.
Shit.
All right.
Shout out back, Spencer. Shout out back to McCrae.
No. He usually gives me the shout outs to me, and I never reciprocate. I never reciprocate.
Never reciprocated shout out.
Yeah.
Thank you, Craig.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
Hey, real shout out to Shelli. Honestly, thank you for your time.
Yep.
And we appreciate it. We know you got a lot going on. It's nice for you to sacrifice a little bit of your time to spend with us, talking about Big Brother.
Awesome talking to y'all. Big fan.
All right, big fan of yours. All right, love you, girl. Thank you so much.
Take care,
and,
everyone.
Take care.
Subscribe and do all the stuff that you got to do. See you later, everybody. Bye.